Hi guys, it's Melissa. You know I'm here. So we have 56 hours left in the Becoming Death Kickstarter project. And we have over £600 to still fund for it in order to be successful. That is a lot of money to earn in the next 2.5 days, but I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I think we can do it if we work really hard and try and do it over the next few days. Because when Becoming Death gets higher on the Kickstarter list, the people that donate to a lot of them will probably see it and start donating. So that might be useful for us. So what you can do to help, keep sharing the link. You've already been doing a lot to help me by sharing the link to all your friends. Talk about the book. Talk about how much you want to see it published. Donate if you haven't donated already. I don't mind how much you want to donate. If you can donate £1, that'd be really, really helpful. So anything towards it's always going to be helpful. If you want to increase your donation, you can do that. Kickstarter allows you to adjust your donation any time. So if you want to add £1 or £2 on, you can do that. And I'd be really grateful for you to do that, just to get closer to our goal, because the closer we are to the goal, the more likely we are to fund. And I can tell you why I really want to fund now that we're closer to it. So 2014 has been my writing year. And the reason I've decided to do this Kickstarter this year is because I wanted it to be the finale to my writing year. I wanted to be able to fund my first book, so next year I could focus on getting it published. What I mean by my writing year is that last Christmas I decided I was going to write every single day. And I have done that. We are December 15th now, and every day since January the 1st, I have written at least 200 words. And I'm really proud of that fact, and it has been very difficult some days, especially when I've been on vacation and stuff like that and nearly forgotten to write, or been over a friend's house and had to pull out a notebook so I could write something that day. And I've been very, very committed to it, and it's something that I might continue on in the next year. I haven't decided yet because it has been very stressful to try and write every day, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to do it. So the other reasons in 2014 has been my writing year is I've been teaching creative writing for adult education. I taught beginners, I taught intermediate. I'm teaching a publishing course I made up myself, and next year I will be teaching how to write a novel for adult education. So lots of different teaching involved this year, and actually I've been growing a lot in myself as a writer because of that teaching. Each class I've taught on, I've had to relearn things, and I get better at writing with each one of those sessions, because people ask you questions and you have to go research them, and you have to know things that they're going to ask you. And I've learned a lot about the publishing process because I've been writing this publishing course. It has been really instrumental in me actually understanding what I need to do to self-publish. And it's been great for my students as well. They've learned a lot this year, but I've really learned a lot as well. And I've also taken it upon myself to go to 2 different courses in London. One, a Publishing Roots course, which I decided to self-publish after going to, and then one, a self-publishing course I went to earlier this month. Both have been really useful for me to kind of get information about self-publishing and really to think about how I can get Becoming Death out in the market next year and what I need to do exactly. Other things I've done in 2014, my writing year, is enter a lot of competitions. The first thing I entered at the beginning of the year was a fellowship at the UEA. I didn't get it. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be making this video. But the story I wrote for it, When Birds Fly, has been something I've been working on for the rest of the year. And I'm quite proud of it, really. It's a story that takes place in Japan about an arranged marriage. And the main character is gay, but she's being forced into this arranged marriage with someone she doesn't love. And it's all about her struggle to kind of come out. So it's an interesting take for me. I had to do a lot of research into how arranged marriages work in Japan and why they become important since the tsunami. But I'm interested, and I did try to write it as my NaNoWriMo novel this year, but I just felt I wanted to spend more time on it than I normally spend on a NaNoWriMo novel. So instead of actually finishing a NaNoWriMo, I've been working on it pretty much constantly over the past few months, and want to really dedicate a lot of time to this. This is a quite serious book for me to write, so I'm really dedicating lots of time to it now. Other things I've done, I've entered a few competitions, and I've been longlisted and shortlisted and a featured poet. So lots of good stuff. So I was longlisted for the Nottingham Short Story Prize earlier this year. For one of my stories that was part of an NaNoWriMo novel, and I kind of switched it around and made it a short story, so that was really useful. And then later in the year, I was shortlisted for the Ideas Cap Inspires Award for writers under 30. I barely got in because I turned 31 the week after the prize was announced, but I still was shortlisted and won a writing class for that, which was really quite useful because I enjoy going to any kind of writing class. It always helps me to learn something else about my own writing, so it's really great. And then later in the year, I was a featured poet for the Norwich City of Stories project. I didn't win, but they asked me to come read my poem, The Library, which was about the library fire in the 90s. I work at the Millennium Library now, and I've talked to a lot of staff about what happened during the fire, and I based the poem around their accounts, really, and also information I found online about the fire. It's something that it's quite important to me, libraries, since I've always worked in one, and my dad worked in one, so it's something I felt I really wanted to write a poem about. So I was really, really pleased to be able to read my work out loud for the first time ever at this event. Yeah, so we're at the end of the year then, so why I want Becoming Death to be my finale is pretty obvious. It's my first book that I really, really believed in, and I want to be able to self-publish it next year, thus I need the money to do that. And it would be an amazing finale to a year of writing that I've been doing. And it's just the only thing I can think of is what would I do if I didn't get it? And it really, it's really difficult to think about failing sometimes. But I know there is a possibility I'm going to fail and I'm going to have to find that money somewhere else. But I'm hoping I won't. I'm really, really hoping that somehow, because it's Christmas time, we'll be successful and it will work out. And you have to try and keep positive about these things sometimes, because otherwise it eats away at you and you feel like, oh, I'm never going to be able to do anything, so why should I even bother? But I really want to get this book out there. I do. It's one of my goals in life to get it out there. It's on my bucket list to publish my own book, so I'm doing it. And if we don't fund the Kickstarter, I'll find a way to do it. And it's been great having this Kickstarter because it's meant I have increased my Facebook followers on my author page. I've increased my Twitter followers. I've made an audience for this book. And that's a really important part of the Kickstarter, is actually building an audience. And that's part of the reason why I want to do it, not just to get the money, but also to make new friends that can support my writing in the future. And also find out which one of my already friends would support me in publishing a book. Would they buy it? And I've had a really good support system. We've had 45 people support me so far, which I think is great. I'm really, really happy with that amount. I would love to get to 50 though sometime today. That would make my day, really. And the Kickstarter funding would make my year. So help me make my writing year one of the best years ever by donating to Becoming Death. So please go to Kickstarter, type in Becoming Death, find my page, and give me a donation. Thank you very much.